Stephen Pressfield and I want to tell you that you are already a professional. You just don't know it yet. You use it every day. As long as you're in the workforce and you have a job, you are a professional. And he says, quote, all of us are pros in one area, our jobs. We get a paycheck, we work for money, we are professionals, end quote. Now the question is, can we take those same qualities and use them for our creative practice? I say yes, we can. It's something we've learned. Definitely we can bridge that gap. The qualities that define a professional that shows up every day at their jobs are these. Number one, we show up every day. Only because we get a paycheck, but we show up every day. Number two, we show up no matter what. How many of us have went to work sick? I know I have, because you got to get that money, right? Number three, we stay on the job all day. Again, maybe because someone's watching you punch a clock, but you're on the job all day. Number four, we're committed over the long haul. We may go from job to job, but we're always in the workforce. There's a commitment there. Number five, the stakes are high. If we don't have a job, we can't feed our families, basically. Number six, we accept remuneration. Basically, we accept compensation. I like the word remuneration, but we accept compensation for our labor. We're not just doing the jobs for fun. And that ties in with number seven, which is we don't over-identify with our jobs. We may take pride in them, we enjoy them, but we are not our job descriptions. Number eight, we master the technique of our jobs. Maybe not completely fully, but we do really well because we show up every day. You're going to master something. And number 10, we receive praise or blame for our jobs because we're out there. So that's how we're professional. All 10 of those things are indicating a professional attitude. Now, the amateur, on the other hand, does this. They don't show up every day. They don't show up no matter what. Actually, when they say, I don't feel like it, they don't show up. How many have done that for our creative practice? I know I have. They're not on the job all day. They're not committed for the long term. The stakes aren't very high. They're mostly fake. They don't get paid for their jobs. They over-identify with their art, right? There's no sense of humor about failure because they over-identify so much. Usually we haven't mastered our technique. There's no exposure to criticism from the real world also. That's the amateur. And that's how we treat our creative practices a lot. And it's kind of sad because we have the tools to be professional. If we could tap into those tools and that mindset and bring that mindset of our jobs into our creative habit and apply them there, we can have some lasting progress. So if you right now are putting or have put effort into your creative habit, you're probably able to check off some of those boxes that we talked about as far as being a pro or not being a pro. For example, you may have mastered a technique in your creative habit, like in your art, but you're not exposing what you're making to the world because you're afraid of criticism and you over-identify. So there's one that you're doing really well, but you need to figure out how to fix the others. Or maybe you're like I used to be and refuse to take money for your work because you felt like it's solely that sacred creative art of yours. That's something I've worked on. So identify which of these 10 attributes that you're lacking or avoiding and make progress to improve. Know that you're a professional right now. My suggestion is to start with number one, which is showing up every single day. And even if you're not showing up and doing your work, you can show up and work on your mindset to get to the work. Show up and make a plan. Show up and do anything. Just show up and do some kind of progress forward. Out of all the 10 principles that Stephen Pressfield basically listed there, I think showing up is the number one most important.